Nice to see you. Good. How's everything then? My days are right. So, how happened, right? Sure. Very good. Nice to meet you. UPSC is doing an excellent job. Second largest group in India. Very soon, I think 2015 is going to be number one. Right. Poonam is there? Poonam, just no problem. No, no, no. So, Shrika is come already? Where is it? At the back. Okay. Correct, very good. Yeah, it will start at 4 o'clock. So you want to just go inside and sit?
And a hearty welcome. Hi, hello, a very warm welcome and a good evening. Sorry, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸರಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. Hi, hello, a very good evening and warm welcome to 3rd Annual Indian Conclave Business Leadership Awards 2012. Hi, hello, a very good evening and warm welcome to 3rd Annual Indian Conclave Leadership Award 2012 in Namma Bengaluru. The weather's very awesome over here and we are here to welcome our guests. Hi sir, good evening. Good evening.
Evening.
May I know your name?
Abdul Azim Khan.
Okay, Abdul Azim Khan, how do you feel to be a part of this conclave here tonight?
It is nice to hear we are enjoying here.
Okay. So, see, basically I want to ask you a few questions about the Indian scenario nowadays, like, whatever is going on, the current issues. Like, do you think India is prepared to take on China or US at the present scenario?
After a few days, it will be forward for China. Forward.
Okay, so you mean to say that India will take over China first and then US?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much and have a nice evening.
I'm actually a student,
Okay, and which college?
IIPM.
Okay. Hey, that's very good thing. Then I have a question for you.
Hello.
Hi, very good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So, where are you from?
I'm basically born and brought up in Bangalore, but a student of IIPM.
Okay, IIBM. Okay. Oh, that's very good. Sir, like first, I would like to ask, see, IIM and IITs are, flowing abroad. So, how do you think that, we can stop this talent flow going abroad?
We must actually find out the root cause of why these people are flowing abroad. They have a better opportunity.
You should be having one.
Yeah, a lot. But the fact is that the very promise that a person can get or the future he sees in India is a niche. They don't get to have a lot of opportunities or a lot of freedom also. As I was talking to one of my friend who got into an aviation industry, who flew abroad to Dubai, and he said, "I bet I want to come back to India because it is not as free as India anywhere else." The example he told is, "I cannot spit on the road itself." So it's always good to come back, but about the money you make. So who doesn't want to make money and live a king's life? So if that is offered in India, who would even want to go abroad?
So it's only the monetary benefits you're looking.
Again, let me correct. It is not only the monetary benefits, but you must also see the exposure you get, the cultural stuff that you get. You get abroad, your outlook itself changes. So it's always good for a person to go abroad, but it is always good for him to come back and be a productive stuff in India.
But I see, most of the, people who graduate from here go abroad, and when they retire, they would always want to come back to India. Why is this? When you are in the prime time of your life, you want to stay there, and when you're old, you want to come here. Why is that so?
First thing must be the nostalgia. Who would not miss their home? But there is again a root cause to it, because for a person to be strong in terms of his security, feel secure, doesn't much happen in India. And that's a naked truth. Everybody knows about it. A person who goes abroad and comes back and says, why is this India like this? So again, everything in the hands of the politicians here who can actually bring things or turn around.
Few things should not be said actually.
All right, but yeah, few things cannot be hidden too.
But how do you feel to be a part of this leadership conclave today?
It is actually great to see the winners talk than to see the old men's. But actually telling the victory lies there. Experience bring you the victory. So it's always good to see them talk and learn a lot. It is always a pleasure to come down here and learn.
Thank you very much and nice talking to you.
God bless.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are talking to Mr. Muthukrishnan. Sir, where are you from?
I'm from Mumbai.
So, what do you do in Mumbai?
Well, I'm part of a education and training company called Eka Academy, and we do a lot of corporate training in the mid-management sector.
Okay, so sir, how do you feel to be a part of this leadership conclave today?
Very, very interesting. You got a very diverse set of audience, which is the uniqueness of this program. Normally in a program like this, you have a particular segment which takes precedence over other segments. So you have IT focused, you have banking focused, you have various FMCG focused. Whereas in this particular program, you have an equal opportunity which is given to various segments, and that I feel is the uniqueness of this program.
Very interesting, sir. And you gave us a lot of inputs. But sir, the current affair question. Do you really think that India can? India is prepared to take over, be a number one when compared to China and US.
Interesting question has to be looked from the historical perspective. Few years back, we had Green Revolution when India was begging the whole world for grains and we were starving, and someone said, Dr. Swaminathan said, we'll give food to every hungry stomach, and we started the Green Revolution. India is self-sufficient, it is an export surplus country. Few years back, when most of the Indian children are malnourished and there was a lot of infant mortality, another great scientist, Dr. Kurian, said that we will give milk to every student, every children, and we had the White Revolution. Right now, India is poised to a different revolution called the Grey Revolution. Grey Revolution because India is now going to take over the world, not as a superpower, economic superpower, may not be a military superpower, but definitely as a human superpower. And there I think with the 500 million population which is in the employable age group in the next 5 to 10 years, I'm sure we are there. It's just a question of time. It's not if, but it is when.
Yes. At the end of the day, you brought education into it.
Well, yes, that's my bread and butter. Education is my bread and butter.
Okay.
Sure.
So with the current rate of education in India which is going on now, most of the children are not educated. So how do you feel about it?
See, that depends on what you define as education. Like there are two ways of education or three ways of education. A is a formal education. B, it's an informal education. and see that's a continuous education after getting job. Now, if you talk about formal education, you do your graduation, post-graduation, doctorate, there are about 250 million who will get access to that type of education by 2022 or 2020. There is another 500 million people who don't have access to that education, access to a formal education, who cannot do a doctorate or a master's. For them, there is what we call the informal education, which is a skill-oriented education. Now, for that to catch up in our country, has to be a mental change in the people. Like for example, if you are a plumber or a carpenter in Australia, you are considered as good as a doctor or an engineer. But whereas in India, the moment you become, you say that I'm a plumber, you are always considered as the grade 4 employee vis-a-vis a doctor. Whereas a plumber might require the same amount of skill that a doctor should have. So that type of mental change has to come, and there are a lot of initiatives that the government has taken, the National Skill Development Corporation being one of them, which are mandate of skilling close to 550 million people in the next 10 years. The Ministry of Rural Development being the second, where you have a very ambitious target under what is called NRLM, National Rural Livelihood Mission. So I think with those things and the mental change is happening, it's slowly, but it's surely happening. It might take some time, but we will be there eventually.
Thank you very much, sir. It's very nice talking to you.
It's my honor and a privilege to be over here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a nice day. Hi, good evening. Very shortly we will be in touch with the key person of UB Group. He is one of the persons who have worked more than half of his life in the UB Group, and let us chat with him very shortly. Watch out. I'm really honored to be standing next to you. Thank you very much. Good evening. Now we are talking to the key person of the UB Group. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, how do you feel to be a part of this leadership conclave?
Well, it's interesting to be here and talking to people about the industry.
I heard you speaking, about your group a lot. So how do you feel to be a part of one of the prestigious brands of India and abroad as well?
Well, I've been here now 40 years in the company, so that itself speaks for being proud about the brand and the company.
So, one more thing, like, how do you think that brand India is, reaching its peak when there is, we have the threat of world war?
We have the threat of what?
World war again, the third world war.
Well, I don't think any world war is going to happen, so there's no threat to the brand India.
So you always think positive.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, sir. It's very nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Hi, very good evening. Now we are chatting with Shri Rajiv Sharma. Very good evening, sir, and hearty welcome.
Good evening.
Sir, how do you feel to be a part of this leadership conclave today?
Yeah, good. Good. I mean, the kind of business leaders who have come here today are varied from different industries and different walks, so it's a good feeling.
Okay, so from this too, let me go to the current affairs of India. Like, is cross-border terrorism a threat to India's superpower claim? According to you, what is the situation?
Well, first I'm an Indian, and for an Indian I wouldn't want to leave even an inch of my land. So by no means cross-border terrorism is an acceptable thing. I think so the government should deal with it with a very strong hand, and try to crush all forms of cross-border terrorism, and make India more safe and secure, because cross-border terrorism not only is a dangerous thing for India's secularity, but also trying to propagate regionalism, casteism, and also dealing with a lot of death of Indian citizens. So it's definitely not something good.
Thank you very much, sir. And sir, according to you, who would be the next president of India? An apt person.
Well, I was just seeing some survey and options on online today, and one of them was the current Vice President, Mr. Hamid Ansari. But I think so a very apt person will be Dr. Abdul Kalam, and I think so he should be brought back, because he is the best person to be the president, who's not a puppet, in the government. So
Even now, we always look up to Shri Abdul Kalam because uh, when we think about, the President of India, I think for the generation now, I think he is the person who just comes to our mind.
yeah, he's a genius person who has not only contributed to India's growth and success, but also been very secular in his views and actions. So, and apart from that, he's very capable technically. So, he's the best person.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Assistant General Manager.
Bank of Baroda.
Okay, Salpa. Ikkada, yeah. Basavaraj, no?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we are chatting with Shri Basavaraj, Assistant General Manager of Bank of Baroda. So, hearty welcome to you to this leadership conclave.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We are very proud today because we are going to be honored today by the banking industry. We are one of the biggest, best achievers amongst the banks.
Oh, that's very good, sir, and congratulations in
Thank
advance.
you very much. Thank you.
Sir, okay, now let me go to the current affairs of India then, apart from this evening. So, sir, according to GDP, gross domestic product, India's GDP is only 6.7%, which is all-time low. How do you think we will progress in the world market with this same scenario?
No, the present days, this what RBI is looking is we should not have the recession again. What we are this America and the European countries are facing. So accordingly, this RBI and Ministry of Finance, they are devising some measures. So that's why this Basel 2, from Basel 2 to we are going to Basel 3, all those things they are bringing. And we have quite good capital so that any recession will not affect our banking industry.
Sir, according to you, who should be the next president of India?
Oh, sorry, it's a difficult question. Will not be able to answer that.
No, sir. See, we all look up to some people in the world. So, according to you, if you are given an option, who would you want to be our next president of India?
One should be a good economist who should have a vision, a bit youngster who can be aggressive and who should have the knowledge of all the world affairs. See, such person should be selected.
Like,
Probably Dr. Manmohan Singh.
okay, oh, that's very good. Thank you very much, sir, and have a nice evening. First, can I have a photograph with you later? I will interview you.
Okay, sure.
Sir, hearty welcome and congratulations also.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel to be a part of this leadership conclave today, sir?
I think leadership is one of the most important things today. Whether it's leadership of the state, leadership of the country, or leadership of a company. I did a kind of an advanced course in Harvard, and the only thing that they told us is that ultimately leadership is either the reason for success or failure. And I think that's really why this becomes so important in today's world. Also, I think that in many, many ways, we don't have exemplary leadership. And actually, there's a lack of role models in the country. And it's not only in the country, it's actually all over the world today. And I think young people, to be inspired, they need good leadership. So I think this is a very relevant topic and very, very timely.
Yes, sir. I 100% agree with you. But, sir, see, positivity in each and everything matters. And according to your science, like our science, how do you feel that positivity affects internal and externally?
Well, basically, homeopathy is mind and body medicine. And, it's actually part of holistic medicine. We all believe that today a lot of lifestyle diseases are actually psychosomatic in nature. And therefore, for example, even if small thing like if you got pain in the abdomen, it actually could be because of stress. If you got a headache, it could be a stress headache. It doesn't necessarily have to be a brain tumor. And we always think of the worst rather than think of the easy things. So really, there's a big connect between mind and body. Today, people are stressed out. There's a huge problem at home. Families are broken. Family as a unit is no longer there. Work, there's a lot of pressure, and research has actually shown that the biggest pain point is your immediate boss, who causes you either too much of pressure and sickness. Lots of man hours are actually lost at work because of stress. So I think this is something which is very, very important, and I think mind and body, there's a huge connect, and homeopathy believes in that.
So what is the one common thing? We all know that we have to do a lot of meditation to keep ourselves, very calm. But apart from that, what is your advice to the people who are watching you?
Well, all I'll say is that, eat well, or eat right rather. I think today we eat a lot of wrong food. We eat a lot of junk food. We have very, very little awareness on what is right and what is wrong in food. And, we actually say you are what you eat. And that's so true. The second thing is we become too comfortable. And we all lead comfortable lives. We press a button, get into the lift. We've just stopped sleeping on soft mattresses and, take a lift to get somewhere, get into a car and drive. So I think basically we also need to exercise a bit. And the last thing I think is, simple living and high thinking. And I think if your thoughts are good, it actually affects your body as well.
I think that's your mantra.
Well, yes, I actually believe in it.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure and very nice talking to you.
Thank you. Lovely talking to you as well.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
And we were with Dr. Batra, who gave us many, many positive advices like how to keep on our health in everyday life. Thank you.
I'm really pleased to have you over here. Thank you. I'm really thankful that you're here actually. Thank you. What do you want to ask? One?
Yeah, sorry, I did not get your name.
I'm Arindam. Yeah.
Okay.
Arindam Chaudhary is the head of IIPL.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are with Professor Arindam. Sir, how do you feel to be a part of this conclave this evening?
Wonderful. I mean, it's a pleasure coming here. Coming to Bangalore is always great also.
That's very good. Sir, you are a professor and you are in the field of education. Now, I would like to ask you something which is, bothering me from very long time. See, these IIMs and IITs are, after they are graduated, they are going abroad. So how can we stop this flow?
Yeah, I mean, make them pay up. The students, if they were to pay for the real education, then have no problems because you pay for the real education, you go anywhere. But if your education is subsidized, then you must give back something to the country, and that should be made the rule.
Sir, apart from the rule, yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
I'm Ashok Gulati.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are with Shri Ashok Gulati. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, how do you feel to be a part of this leadership conclave this evening?
It's nice to be here. I'm representing Percept Communications. So we're here to receive the award on behalf of the boss.
Okay, then congratulations in advance, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, let us go to the current affairs. I'll just take 2 minutes of your time. According to you, who is the next probable President of India?
I won't comment. It's all political things. I won't comment on that.
I know, but we all have, our choices.
Nobody at present is, it will be all party nominee. That's what I can say.
But still, we have our preferences.
I wouldn't comment on anybody at present. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And congratulations again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again here we have Mr. Faisal here. Very good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, how do you feel to be a part of this leadership conclave today?
It's great. It's great. So we were waiting for this opportunity. We have worked hard. So yes, now we are on the forum now. So that shows us where we are.
So congratulations in advance.
Thanks a lot.
So one question out of this thing. Who do you think will be our next President of India?
Well, I think the next one should be again a scientist. So we need to search for a scientist like that. So
Okay, you want Mr. Abdul Kalam again?
I hope he comes back again. And if there is any again law to be brought him back again.
Okay, thank you very much and have a nice evening.
Thanks.
That side? Okay. That's okay, sir. You can come little close. Hi, we are with Mr. Arvind from Belcan International. A hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
And congratulations in advance, probably.
You're welcome.
Okay. So how do you feel to be a part of this leadership conclave this evening?
It's a proud moment and great team and great organization. makes me feel proud to lead or to handle, be a part of such a team and work, coordinate and grow together.
At the end of the day, your hard work paid.
Yes, more or less, yes. But still a long way to go. Yeah.
I know. I would like to ask one current issue regarding our current status of India. So this IITs and IIMs are flowing abroad after the education in India.
Okay.
So what do you think? How can we stop this flow?
Primarily, they should be educated about the opportunities available in the country, and India is a huge market which is still unexplored to what I see, and not on a broader scale, at least even if you consider my company Belkin, we still have a very long way to go, and people need to understand this. Maybe managers who are graduating from IIMs or technocrats who are coming out of IITs, they need to understand the requirement or the market that is there in the country and try to explore and grab that opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. Nice talking to you and have a lovely evening.
You will.
Ready? How was his speech?
It was amazing.
Amazing, and then?
Beyond words. Truth.
Yes, I really agree with you.
It's really a fact.
And I hope it was very, very electrifying.
Yeah, exactly. Always he is like electrifying, simply beyond words. You can't explain.
That's very nice. So I think you could get a lot of inputs, the way he spoke to you.
Exactly. It's a dream come true. Watching him speaking in front of us in our naked eyes, we can't believe just.
Yeah, I understand these students are really charged and they have a long way to go. All the best.